Welcome ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sunesha and we are playing Mordheim City of the Damned. We're actually not gonna play today, we are gonna go over the skills and see how we can apply them for our warband here. So I have thought about it a lot, I've gone over the skills multiple times here and have made some notes. So I have picked one passive skill and one active skill for every rat we have in the warband. So I thought we were gonna go over all the skills. Yes, it's that kind of episode today. So the first skill, of course, here in the strange category at passive skills, we have an increased range of ambush, which would probably be a very valuable skills if you played in the Sisters or some other warband that has a very low reach, but we have movement range of 8. So as usually I have seen in the matches, I often actually can ambush them or charge them before they ambush me because the superior movement range of the Skaven warband. But yeah, so that is one of their yeah, they have really great skills too, and then passive skills, but yeah, they are not that great, but the movements are great. But I like rats, I like them very much. So this is another version of this. It increases the charge range, nothing exciting for us. Armor proficient is a very cool skill. And the problem is when you're playing with henchmen is they are not just allowed to pick one level of these skills. So you will only get a reduction of 1 meter on a non-henchman like a hero or a leader. You can actually gain 2 meters by the mastery skill. I really like this one. This is one of the more important skills I use on the warp guards, as it increases my movement with 1 meter, so I can still have them in heavy armor with their superior movements. So yeah, that is offsetting the movement penalty on the warp guard. So that is probably the most important skill we have on our warp guards, so because we want them to be able to be running around with our warband, and we want them to move together with the rest of the guys. And if they can't move fast enough or far enough, they get behind, and that is a problem because we want them at the front, of course. That's why we put them in heavy armor for first place. So we have Strider here. This is kind of interesting. Increases the hit chance of charge attack with 10%. This could be a very interesting skill to take if you take it off with a more active skill. Mighty charges, there are a couple of more charge skills that can probably offset one of the penalties of those skills, is that you get a lower chance of hitting after you're charging, but you often get a lot of more damage, so it could be good to pair them together. I have not fought so far, as I just picked 2 skills, but that is maybe something to think about if you're using the charge skills. So we have also Assault here, increases the critical hit chance of, yeah, that is kind of nice. If you can stack all these together and create a very good charge unit. I think it's better to diversify or specialize, but I think it's maybe sinking so many points into a charge. I'd rather go with more skills like we would see in the active skills, where you can get Frenzy, Black Hunger, skills that will make you attack the target a lot more efficient. Yeah, I don't think this is a really good skill here. Increases the critical chance. Yeah, it's the same deal. I'm not sure where you should spend skills. If you can make sure that you ambush your enemies, but I don't think that is a really good strategy, because you never know where your enemies will ambush you. You can't control that situation, and it's very situational too. So I'm not very impressed by that skill. So let's go over, yeah, this will probably be a very long episode, but I want to take it in a slow pace here, so we can, maybe I will get some new ideas how to optimize my rats and make them more fun to play. Increases the poison resistance with 15%. Yeah, that is, if you're always fighting this game in warband, that probably will pay off, but Once again, but it's a very cheap skill. It's one of our lower class skills here, passive skills. So yeah, it's an passive, and it's always. This is more, however, more interesting skills, which something that can ruin your day is getting stunned. Yeah, because if you get stunned, yeah, you know you've been knocked down and you have to raise there, and you lose I think offensive point and 2 movement points. I'm not 100% sure of the stats there, but yeah, for the thought of this, yeah, this could be super valuable to have actually on the warp card in the future, because the longer we play, the more crit chances will go up as the character we are fighting. So crits will be more common. They are very uncommon for the moment, but that can ruin your dares if they get stunned. Also, when you're stunned, you're easy to get hit by ranged attack, and you're easy to hit, and there's a higher chance of them critting. So yeah, that can be something to think about when you have a tanky character. Increase the base value of the warrior wound value. It's kind of decent actually, as we can see here. We have a level 2. I'm using him because then we can watch this. We can also watch the spells. Yeah, I can see every skill and spell with him. That's why I choose him. He's kind of low level compared to our other rats in our warband, but increase of wound value of 20 is actually quite high. It's actually maybe worth taking if we don't have anything more useful to use on our warp guards, because that 20, if we look at this, it's kind of high when you have a health of, I think our warp guards have health around 180 and 200, so that's almost a 10% increase. Or 40, that is a lot of levels of toughness to get that much. That can be useful, maybe. So quick recovery reduces the loss of strategy points and office point when recovering for a stun by 1. Yeah, so here we see quick recovery. Yeah, that is a good passive skill too, maybe, but you only have 5 slots, so I am not really thinking about that. Let's see at resilience. Increases the resistance to critical hit. This is even more valuable skill than the stun recover, because if they don't critical hit you, they can stun you. Because yeah, the different roles, but yeah, that is, I would rather put it on the critical hit here. 20% chance of not getting critical hit on a warp guard would leave them quite very good and tanky for that. So yeah. Veteran, when rolling for injury, halves the chance of getting multiple injuries. Also doubles mastery, also doubles the chance of full recovery. Yeah, if you have a lot of skill points and nothing to sink them into, it could be very valuable on your highest level. Yeah, I don't think it's relevant for us as we are around level 5. Maybe when you are at 10, then you really, if you have to get an injury on level 10 and you make him useless, like our spellcaster here, he gets his brain bashed in here and he can't cast spell any longer. Yeah, that will be sucky. Yeah, that is probably worth it when, yeah, I would say around level 8 just to be safe. Let's go to agility here. Increases the chance to hit during an ambush attack with 10. So it is once again more ambushes. Athletic. I don't really know in what situation this would be so useful, because at least not at Skaven we have a natural high agility, so we can climb things quite proficient. Not our warp guards in heavy armors, but I can't see why you would put points in this. No, I can't see it. However, it could synchronize with the Night Runners and Ninjari. He has a he gets to move, I think it's 1 meter extra per pill if we climbs up and down things, but I never make use of that advantage or never plan with it. When fleeing increases melee resistance, yeah, fleeing is dangerous, you know. I don't like to flee. Disengage or fight to death, I think is the best solution. So, after the checks on dodge increases the chances by 15% for a counterattack performed in response. This one is, however, very valuable because it gets you an extra free attack after every successful dodge. Or, yeah, you get a chance of doing that. And that would be super useful. For example, we have our scout with a high dodge chance, or almost all of our characters has really high dodge chances, so that can be valuable. Maybe I would put it on him, but I'd rather put points on other things. Yeah, it's a bonus, nice bonus. This is a really high buff here. We have an increased dodge chance by 10%, and that is a really high, because you get around, I think it's 4% per level, so that is like 2 levels dodge. This is one of the skills I've chosen to take on our scout to make an even better dodger later. So quick draw reduces the cost to switch weapon. Actually, yeah, this could be very useful. For example, in our leader that is a little bit skirmisher. He switches between the weapons, but yeah, I'd rather stick to one roll. And yeah, but it could make actually a decent to switch your weapons around. It would make it cheaper. Yeah, that is once again something I wouldn't put high on my list if I can afford it, maybe, but it's still low on the list. Increases the chances of pass all alone. It's a very cheap skill for 90, but yeah, it increases morale. That is kind of nice, because it also increases the warband, but I think leadership is a good all-around skill instead here. The more after dealing melee damage, reduce the target's chance to pass all alone test by 5% for 1 turn, stackable. Yeah, that's once more, if you can afford it and have nothing else to put it in. But there is so many skills that are so more valuable here. This could be a really good thing. Yeah, if you fighting undead all the time, and it comes into play also when the impressive warriors, because they can also cause fear. I'm not sure about if the undead impressive causes terror or not, but yeah, that's quite high. So this is an interesting thing if you don't want to level up another rat or another warband member. You can promote a hero into a leader. Increases the maximum intelligence alertness by 3, maximum leadership by 4, allows to training the leader skills. Yeah, so this can turn one of the heroes into a leader. This could be valuable if you are having a level 10 warband. It can be really valuable. So yeah, Force of Will increases stun resistance by 20%. Once again, a very good skill to have on your warp guards. Yes, because of stun resistance is nice, but I would rather get critical chance resistance if you can choose. Okay, so first of all, let's see here. What did this say? After passing all alone, a fair so this increases your melee resistance. As you always have a melee resistance that's always reduced when someone is trying to hit you. Is 10% flat bonus, no dodge chance or something. You are just 10% less likely to be hit, and after passing that. But too situational again. Channeling, this is one of the things I really want on my spellcaster here. I've marked it down as a passive skill here because it reduces the chance of the tenuous curse. But you know those curses, everything can happen. It can also put our spellcaster out of action. So yeah, this is an important skill. I think a passive ability you have. If you can just get that into making spellcasting a lot safer, because that is something we're gonna do a lot more. So this is increasing the dodge and parry chances by 5. That is quite generous if I put it on my warp guards. Yeah, no, it's not. There are better skills for getting their parry chances higher and so on. So let's see here, magic resistance. That's really nice. They always roll if the magic works or not. So yeah, that is kind of nice. But once again, not very useful all the time. The skills, the passive skills you can use all this time and always beneficial is the most, even it's a small bonus, but if it's always, I think that is more valuable than these situational ones, because that is just working on the magic user. So yeah, spending points for just resist the magic is a little bit more. So this increases melee resistance at 20% against ambush tanks. So if you run into ambush, they are 20% less likely to hit you, or 40%. Yeah, I don't think that is a problem. Maybe if you play against human opponents, it's a completely different game, but I feel often that I can outmaneuver the AI at least. So increases trap. Yeah, this is one that is a very nice thing. If we can resist the trap, I hate them, but I'd rather to be careful, even that I suck to be very careful. So, but yeah, once again, just one situation here. Grants 2 spell points to train new spells. So it's going to be very useful, but I don't think there is so many useful spells that I will not have spell points enough. But in case that is the case, we always can dump some points into an expert. This is, however, a very useful skill because it increases the range of spells of 5 meters. The spells I've chosen to take with my Ashton Sorcerer here is more a buff ability, so it will make it, yeah, but maybe later. So reduces the chance of enemies to resist your spells by 5%. That is quite generous too, yeah, maybe. This is one of the I would say one of the best skills to put on your heroes if you this is if you can afford it after you have put more things here, but it has a very high intelligence requirement of 9. But it increases the movement range by 1, and it looks like it's very small, but you have to think there. For example, on our Etching Sorcerer here, if we can move 1 meter more, that means that's every blue pills 1 meter more. It will add up very nicely to around 10-15% movement increase, and 2 meters is just fantastic. To have 10 movement, yeah, that is. It's a very, very cool skill, and it's for the Skaven warband. I think it works really well because that is one of their strengths, and making their strengths even stronger, I think, is valuable. I'm actually considering it very much here. So increases the Wyrdstone resistance by 20%. So that means you always roll with something when you pick up a Wyrdstone. This will make it less likely you will get one of the Wyrdstone's effects. But yeah, I don't think so. 6 cents increase, yeah, no precision. Yeah, it's so useless. Maybe if you play human players, that can be tricky. Maybe camping out in a inside a house or something, but the AI will not do something like that. Otherwise, I don't see it. So melee resistance against, so yeah, you're 10% likely to get hit by ambush attacks. So yeah, this kind of so reduces the cost of flee with 1 strategy points. That's the blue pills. Yeah, I've never used flee. I don't like to use that. It's very dangerous to flee. So no. Increase the range resistance by 5, that's kind of decent if you're always fighting the human mercenaries. That will be a very valuable skill because, yeah, you will be 5% likely to get hit by ranged units, but no. And this is the same flavor here, but melee, this is actually quite decent if you put it on the warp guard. You get 5%, but there is even better for them. So this is increasing the initiative by 8. This can actually be fairly valuable if we are looking here at the alertness. Here we have spent points for that, and it increases initiative when our units will act in an initiative ladder here. And it could be actually quite a decent skill to get your initiative higher without having to spend put points into alertness, because yeah, but yeah, I think that because yeah, I think leadership is the most valuable in this mental category, because that gives you buff to all alone checks and everything there. So yeah, that is so. So let's see here. We have the weapon skills here. Flashberry increases the parry chance by 10%. That's a flat increase. This is very one of the skills I really want. I want the passive skills on my warp guards, so this is one of the skills I really want to have them. Let's see what... I'm just thinking here, I was just watching my notes here. This is also interesting. This increases the melee resistance and parry chance by 5% when equipped with their shield, which will be valuable for our warp guards because they will be 5% likely to hit, plus a 5% bonus to their parry chance. And the parry, you have to activate the parry stance to the parry chance to even be in play, but this is you're 5% likely to be hit in melee, so I think that is... I'm noting that down. Shield specialist. So this is more, this is giving, but remember, let's see here. Remember that we can only take one level of this, but it's a 5% increase to get hit with our warp guard, so that is really useful, and it gives our 5%. Flash parry gives us a flat bonus of 10%, but this one, the melee resistance is always active, so on a tank that is really nice to have melee resistance, and it's even more valuable because you don't have to use the stance to benefit from that bonus. After dealing melee damage, reduces the cost of disengage with 1 strategy point, valid only for the next action. This is actually quite nice if you are jumping in and out in fights. I still feel that is one of the skills you want to put it on the list if I can afford it after I take in more critical skills here. So increases the chance of hitting of counter-attacking. Usually you have a very high, if for example for a warp guard, which can benefit from this because they can counter-attack a lot. They already have a higher chance of hitting because we are we given a nice bonus from the spear that bypasses their parry chances and so on. So I don't feel it's so valuable. So after receiving melee resistance increases for 3%. This is stackable. This is kind of interesting because if they hit you a lot of times, but then you're already into trouble, but they will have a hard time to hit you. But I think the bonus is too less for this one. After performing a counterattack, receive a 40% chance of recovering of office. Yeah. That is actually very, very decent. It would actually mean that, yeah, I'm writing that down. How could I miss that? Swift counter is actually quite valuable because every time someone is trying to hit you, and if you have offense points enough, you can do a counter attack. So this gives us a 40% chance of counter-attacking once more after if they hit us 2 times in a row and we have spent all our red pills and we don't have anything for counter-attacking. So yeah, that's kind of decent. So range attack bypass 5% of the target armor. Yeah, if you bypass 5% of the armor, it will take heavy armor, the low white stuff, with a helmet. It will put it at 25 instead of 30. So no, I don't think it's a very valuable skill. It sounds a lot better than it is. So increase ranged hit chance by 5% when higher. Yeah, this is kind of decent. I think it is a 10% bonus of being higher than the target, but this increases it even more. This, however, if you have a ranged unit, this is kind of you must have it because this will remove 1 of strategy points cost of reloading. So the first reload will be free. The mastery skill will be 2 free reloads. That means you have loopings enough to move about and do other stuff you can move about. So that's really, really useful. And this is a skill I already have in Ninjari that I want to have mastery on. So this is an interesting thing here because range attack bypass 5% of the target's range resistance. So yeah, it will make it even easier to hit your targets. And yes, this is actually a quite decent passive skill to have on a range unit. I would recommend it So, increase the chance to hit with the aim action. Aim action? What's aim action? I think it's... Oh yeah, now I remember. This is the one you spend blue pills to do an aim, so you use, so you're more likely to hit. I think it increases your chances with it with 20%. But this is actually very good because it's also the mastery version of this skill reduces it with 1 blue pill. So yeah, it's actually quite decent. After dealing the range damage, range critical chance increases by 2%. If we're using Injari and throw 3 stars, we can get up to 6% stacked chance of critical hit. Yeah, it's decent. It's always active, but yeah, once again, if we can afford it, it could be useful. Oh, I'm thinking this will go on for an hour here, because I'm at 25 minutes here. So first we have quick, after dealing melee damage, the target gained the debuff reduces melee resistance. Yeah, so if you deal damage to someone, it reduces their melee resistance by 3%. Yeah, it's kind of weak. Attacks bypass 5% of the dodge, and that is kind of decent, especially in the master version of it, because that is actually 15%, so it's 3 times more. So yeah, it's a passive skill, so it means it's always active. That's actually very decent. After dealing melee damage, the critical chance increases by 5%. This is also a very good passive skill, because with your units, for example, our Brat Orger or anyone that is in melee, he's always dealing damage, and it's most likely that he will deal damage, so that will actually raise is a flat 5%. That almost always would be good to use, and that is a really good skill too. So yeah, we're coming to the good skills. I like the damage skills. When engaged with 2 or more enemies, so if we are fighting 2 enemies, we will get an increased melee chance of 8%, not stackable. So 8% is actually quite high, because if you stack some accuracy and you have a melee chance of, yeah, so that would be quite a high increase of critical chances. But yeah, it's kind of expensive, but it's good. But yeah, I'm not a big fan. I'm not hating it. After dealing range damage, the target gains the debuff that reduces the range resistance by 2% for 1 turn, stackable. Okay, now sometimes when I read, I just read it without reading it. It didn't went into my head here. So we deal range damage, and that it will increase. So if we shoot at the same person 3 times in a row, it will decrease their range resistance penalty by 4. So yeah, that's really okay. But this one is, however, so useful. I mean, this is the one I'm choosing for my passive skill for my leader and my rat ogre here, because it increases the critical hit damage by 10%. It's not a very high percent you get for doing critical damage, but if you can raise it even more, and it will synergize with damage skills that will improve. There is a skill that you can, for example, charge someone and do 125% more damage, and if you crit at the same time, yeah, that's a lot of damage. So yeah. Okay, so let's see at the Skaven Pacific here. Attacks. So this will make poison resistance. They will have an easier time to break the poison resistance. For example, in our Weeping Blades, or with our spellcaster Blessed with Filth, with that thing. So Art of Silent Death. This is a really good skill I put on our Black Skaven here with the Fighting Class, because it increases a flat bonus of 5 when using Fighting Class. The Fighting Class are quite decent. They also make you a better climber. So of course, yeah, you're clawing yourself off the walls here, but the mastery skill of this is 10%, and that is a really good flat bonus. 10% extra critical chance is really, yeah. This is also one of the better skills the Skaven have. I want to pick them up later when they are higher levels, because when they have, if two people are fighting the same target and has this skill, it increases their melee. They have 5% more chance of hitting them and 5% more chance of doing a critical hit, and the mastered version is 10%, and it's the kind of situation we are in all the time, so it's almost always will apply to us because we are often gang up on our people. Yes. Okay, I see we have talked for 30 minutes here, or I have talked. Why do I say we? I'm just here. Or maybe I'm royal, because royals are in plural. Yeah, we the royals. Okay, sidetracked here. Sorry about that. Okay, I think I will actually quit the episode here, and we will just go. I will do a new episode right after this one, where we will be looking at the active skills instead. Yeah, let's do it in that way. Otherwise, it would take way too much time. So, thank you for watching.